Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Worn Kibbles video. Today, I've got a story that I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy, where my teacher tried to write me up over having a croissant in her class. It was pretty stupid, and I ended up getting in trouble for absolutely no good reason whatsoever, but I hope you guys can enjoy my suffering and leave a like, and let's get right into it. Alright, so this story happened a few years ago in one of those classes that everyone would really just kind of hated, and it wasn't exactly because the class content was bad, if you catch my drift. It was because of the teacher. Now, we're going to call this teacher Miss Turner. Now, Miss Turner was one of those teachers who was super strict. Like, she wouldn't let you work on any other teacher's work during her class, not even if you finished all of her assignments. And she wouldn't accept late work at all, even if it wasn't even your fault. Like, there was one day when the school Wi-Fi went out and we had an online assignment. Nobody could do it, and we all showed her our computers, but she didn't believe us. She called us all hackers, thinking we were trying to trick her, and gave us zeros on the assignment. She was actually crazy. Plus, her tests were way harder than they needed to be. Like, they would be asking me about the Revolutionary War when we just learned about China. So, it was safe to say Miss Turner was no joke. There was no talking, no bathroom breaks, no tomfoolery during her class, no sir. But wait, it gets worse. While she had all these strict rules and everything, she would break them all the time. One of her rules that she strictly enforced was no eating in her classroom. However, she would eat basically every single day. I one time witnessed Miss Turner eat 5 whole cosmic brownies in one period. But as soon as I want to eat an apple, she would act like it was contraband. And well, that brings us to the story. So, a key detail to this story is that I pack my own lunch to school every day because, well, I'm sure you guys have had school lunch before and it's not necessarily famous for being very good. And I like my food to be good, so, I bring it myself. And on this particular day, I hadn't finished all of my lunch, and Miss Turner was my last period of the day. This means that, just like any good gamer, I get a little bit hungry. It's been a few hours since I fueled up, and I conveniently have my leftovers with me, and I want to eat something, but I know I can't eat because she would totally yell at me. But in my head, I'm thinking she eats like every day in this period, so I'll just wait until she starts eating something. Surely she can't yell at me for eating while she was eating. I mean, come on, the hypocrisy, even Miss Turner couldn't possibly be blind to that. And sure enough, just like clockwork, about 10 minutes into class, she gives us table work and goes to sit down behind her big desk. She pulls out, I kid you not, a full, unopened, family-size bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, which, by the way, I'll give her this. That is the best flavor. Cool Ranch over Nacho. I don't care what you all say. You can debate me in the comments about it, but I'm right. Miss Turner knows what's up. But I'm like, let's go. I can eat now. I've been so hungry all day. And so she starts munching and crunching on those chips, and I start looking in my lunchbox to see what I've got. Now, I've got a few things. I got a granola bar, banana, all that good stuff. And so I'm just kind of eating throughout the class, and she doesn't really notice. So things are going well. I'm thinking if she notices, it'll be fine because, like, she's eating too, but it's even better because she doesn't even notice. And things move on with really no incident until we are in about the last 15 minutes of class, and her munching starts to slow to a stop. And I look up at her basically in awe because this means that Miss Turner had just opened and finished an entire family-sized bag of Doritos in about 20 minutes. And I'm not trying to, like, say anything, but she wasn't exactly the type of teacher who was going to be calling us kids her little second family. So, the family-sized bag of chips? Well, that's kind of a lot if you're gonna tell people that they can't eat in your class. But, she stands up to go throw away the empty bag. And when she stands up, it gives her a little bit of the high ground. She can get a little bird's eye view of the classroom. And, well, I'm telling you, Miss Turner had an eye like a hawk when it came to food. I'm sure she would be able to see a tiny raisin on the floor in the corner of the classroom and immediately start interrogating the entire class to find out who could have possibly brought such banned food items into her classroom. Now, I had something a little bit bigger than a raisin in my hand. I had gotten to the last and, of course, coincidentally biggest item left over in my lunch bag. I had a croissant. She stops midway to the trash can, family-sized bag in hand. Her eyes sharpen, and she turns a cold glare at me and just goes, "Worn Kibbles, what is in your hand?" I freeze, trying to think of my best course of action. Should I run? Should I accept my fate? But I figured she was just eating. Like, she can't get too mad at me, and I decide to try and just downplay it. I mean, if I act like it wasn't a big deal, then maybe she would too. So I just go, "Oh, it's a croissant." And I don't know why. I don't know if it was how I said it, but I somehow broke the awkward tension in the room, and about half the class broke out laughing. And this didn't exactly make my situation better because it made Miss Turner mad. And she goes, "No, no, everyone stop. Stop laughing. This is serious." And that just, I mean, have you guys ever seen that video of that one teacher screaming like, "No, no, 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 pomegranates." And like, she was just sounding like that lady. And of course, this makes more people start laughing. And it's hilarious. But I'm just thinking, oh, God, no, because this is just getting worse and worse for me. And Miss Turner basically has steam coming out of her ears at this point. She slams her hand down on the desk, throws down the empty bag of chips, goes, "Everybody, quiet!" And the room basically goes silent. I'm screwed. She walks over to me, rips the croissant out of my hands, marches over to the trash can, and throws it away as the entire class watches in silence, probably about to suffocate from holding back their own laughter. And Miss Turner goes, "Worn Kibbles, you have caused such a disruption. You know there is no food in my class. You should have known better. You need to go to the office." And I'm just like, what? Because she was just eating, and now she wants to write me up for what she was just doing. I wasn't going to stand for this. I stood up. I go, "Miss Turner, I just watched you eat an entire family-sized bag of Doritos in this class period. How can you expect me to not eat when you are eating the portions of a small middle-class family?" And she doesn't have a response to that. Because there is no defense. Honestly, there's nothing that she could have said. She had a lunch period she could have eaten in just like the rest of us. I mean, she's got zero excuses. So I was right. But at what cost? You know the saying, you never want to corner a wild animal? Well, when you corner a wild animal, it makes them desperate, and it makes them fight back with every ounce of their being. And while I was right, she had all the power. And she goes, "Well, now you're getting a major referral, and if you don't go to the office now, I'm going to call them and have the APs drag you out." And, let's just say that got me out of there pretty quickly. I went right to the office and just stayed there for like the last 10 minutes of the day. And when I got up there, I did get pretty lucky because the people in the office said, "We're not going to deal with you right now. There's like 5 minutes left in the entire school day right now. So you can just apologize tomorrow." And surprisingly, after that, I apologized to Miss Turner, and our relationship improved. And I'd be willing to say that I was one of her favorite students by the end of the year. Crazy turnaround, really. But anyway, that's about it. Moral of the story is don't call your teacher family-sized. It doesn't really end too well. But anyway, if you like the video, leave a like. Go ahead and comment "no French bread" in the comments below. Helps the video do better and lets me know who stayed till the end of the video. And finally, I've gotten a lot of comments asking for part 2 of the Obsessed Alex saga, and don't worry, I'm working on the video. I should have it out by next week. This part 2 is actually going to be crazy. I'm going to go into like some crazy stuff that she did to like try and manipulate me to get me to like fall in love with her. It was insane. But anyway, if you guys haven't watched part 1 of that yet, I'll link it at the end of the video. It's about this crazy girl, Alec, who was obsessed with me in like 7th grade, and she actually stalked me a little bit, found out my entire class schedule. It was pretty weird, but anyways, get excited for that video. I hope you guys all have a great day. I'll see you next week, and as always, thanks for watching.